Hello and welcome back. And if it's your first time, welcome to the Declutter podcast. I am so delighted that you are here. I am your host, Fallon Jordan. And in this container, it's just fun because we're talking about decluttering your mind. We're talking about decluttering your home so that you can make more mental, emotional, and physical space for the things that matter, like your relationships, and especially your relationship with yourself, which is really comes down to self-confidence. And I think for a lot of us, especially women, when we are on camera or we see pictures of ourselves, that's almost like, for me, like you do all the self-confidence work. And like, that's when like the spooky wookies, as one of my mentors says, comes out. And so I'm excited to have Johanne Dodon here, who is an expert in being confident on camera. And so I'm going to hand it over to you to share a little bit more about how you found this amazing, it's really like a protocol. And that's again why I'm so excited for you to share, because, it's not the typical things that people think about, right? About getting on camera. There's other really beautiful other things, and just excited for everyone here to get into Joanne's energy because it's just a very beautiful, peaceful, and calming place to be. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to share what I have learned and what I've been able to implement in my own life in terms of confidence and being able to be in this world of the digital, this digital world. So, one thing that I want to share is online coaching I don't know if you know this, but it's the second fastest growing industry worldwide.
Wow.
But interestingly enough, people or coaches are struggling. The majority of coaches are struggling. And I don't know if you see that in your own world.
Oh yeah.
But doing business online isn't optional anymore. It is essential.
Mm,
We don't have a choice because everybody's online, right?
mm-hmm.
And video is the number one promotional tool on social media and on these platforms. But there is a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of business owners that are really, really talented. They have valuable insight, valuable experience, and services that really, really are helpful for a lot of people. And the problem is they are having a hard time getting it out there. They're having a hard time, not selling. I'm not going to use selling because, but offering or getting their message out there to the world. And their only way is through social media right now. And when they see themselves on video, they cringe. They get that sinking feeling like, yeah, I should have done better. Because I know my stuff. Why am I so bad on video, right?
Yeah.
And they see themselves and they say, why am I so stiff on camera? This doesn't make sense. And what happens is a lot of people will procrastinate. They're really good at their business, visions and plans and everything like that. They're really, really good at that. But they procrastinate getting online. They create a video and delete it. Or they take 10 takes, and
Yep.
then delete it. So they skip going online. They really skip doing their business. And that's the thing. My background as a business analyst consultant, because that's what I've done through all of my career. And I could see that, to me, logically, if you have an online business, you have to be online.
Right.
And right? Let me think.
I love
Uh,
common sense. It's my jam.
Exactly. It's common sense. And it is, and mind you, it is an amazing platform. When you think about the potential of reaching people across the globe with our social media, it is mind-boggling. But a lot of people just don't know how. And why I know this? Well, I'll tell you. I've been there. Like I said, my background is being a consultant in boardrooms, speaking to directors eye-level people conducting meetings, and let it be in person or on Zoom even. Very, very comfortable doing that, no issues. So I said to myself, this is going to be a piece of cake going on social media, right? But when it was time for me to talk about my own business, looking at this little dot, on the screen, I was shaking in my boots. I was laughing at myself. I said, this is not real. This can't be. How can you be so nervous? You're used to being in front of the directors, and things like that. So why is it that you're so nervous about this? So I got through, I forced myself through it. I said, hey, listen, I want to do this online business and you're going to do it, right? So I put myself through the challenges, the doing it, the finding ways that would really make me get used to first the technology, then the social media, how to react to people there. And I just started doing that. And that's where I developed the camera confidence method. Um, there are certain things that need to be done, that we need to take care of. And there is a lot of stuff on social media or on YouTube that you could find about the technology, what I call the external part of it. But the internal part is less covered, right? You as a person, you have to be out there. You're the actor, let's say, right? And you must have lived with this as well, Fallon. Like, you're the actor in front of your audience, so you need to have certain skills, and it's skills.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. And I just want to say something because I think it's really important. And I always think of this and laugh. The technology piece is one big hunk of an excuse. And then there's the internal. And we're just going to completely squash the external excuse right now. This is me saying it. And I know that I don't have like the fanciest podcast, but that's because I'm all about simplifying people's lives. Right. And I was doing a session, recording a show with one of my friends who has spent an absorbent amount of money on his camera and his microphone, an audiographer, like all of these things. And he was like, who do you use? Like, my audiographer was like really curious because when he was dissecting and editing our information, yours was so clear. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, what do you use? I'm like, I have a MacBook Air and my headphones. And he's like, you don't have any other equipment? No, you don't have a mic, you don't have this. I'm like, and even right now, like the simplifying and, being in this gypsy era where I'm just going wherever I'm needed with my clients, like I'm not carrying around a ring light. I don't have space for that mentally, emotionally, physically. So I just want to let people know that, like, if you're here and you resonate with me, like I don't do any of that stuff. And it makes me stronger, actually makes me more confident. So now I'm going to hand it back to you about the internal confidence, because obviously that's the most important, but I just wanted to share that really quick.
That is beautiful. And I totally support that. And the big thing about that, about your environment, is you need to own it, and you need to feel comfortable. For myself, I have my office set up, and this happened when I moved into my own apartment, and I just love my office and I feel comfortable here. But I am also, with the knowledge that I have, I'm able to do some videos or lives or whatever anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
because I know what to look for. I know about lighting, I know about sound, I know about a little bit of background. You don't want it to be too messy, and all of those little details, the basic environment and
Yeah.
technical. But when it comes to the internal stuff, the biggest piece there is learning to have our own voice and be authentic. And my take is, for myself, my own experience, when I got out of corporate and went into the social media world, I wanted nothing to do with it at the beginning. I not resented, but I shied away from it. I said, no, 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 you're not going to get to know me kind of idea.
Yeah.
Simply because it didn't feel not right, but it felt very cold.
Mm-hmm.
It felt intimidating. It didn't feel like a place I wanted to be, but I had to. I was pretending it was okay and it was cool and it was good to be on social media. But in reality, I was trying to be somebody I was not. So, and it was draining. That's the thing, is if you're, the measure I find and what I teach is if you're on a video, on a call, or doing any of this online or social media, if you are drained from it, you have to wonder, okay, somehow you're not being yourself. You could be tired after a 1 hour, master class or being on video for an hour. You could be physically tired, and that's okay. But emotionally and drained energetically, that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
so
and
important.
I find did you want to add something?
I was just saying that's such an important piece.
Yes, because it is not sustainable. If you try and do a business, especially, and I don't know if your audience are mostly business owners, but even so, like, people that are wanting to be out there doing different things, if you're trying to be someone else, it is, you're acting, and acting is not your profession, because some people do, right? If it's not your profession, it'll drain you and you won't be able to be consistent. You know that word, be consistent. Yeah, well, if it's something you don't like doing and it's draining you, of course you won't want to be consistent
Right.
because you hate doing it. So it's super, super important. And where you're going to get energized and when you're going to really feel good about it is when you finally let go of all of the rest and you don't care it's not that you don't care what other people feel or what they say about you. You want them, yes, to feel good when they're listening to you. And in order for a person to feel good when they're listening to you, they have to sense your energy. And that energy comes from you being comfortable in your environment, you having done some little preparation before being online, you feeling calm, you're not shaking, you're just speaking to a friend on the other side.
I love that.
You know?
Exactly. And the
Yeah,
more, this is the thing too, is like the more people that you're helping through your authenticity, like there might be those few people every now and then who like don't like what you have to say, but that's a gift because that person's not meant for you. And
exactly.
we're in this age where, I mean, every day feels like a year as far as like all of the big energetic shifts that are happening. And very soon, like if you are not authentic, like you were going to be like literally losing your marbles. So like if you're here and you're like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm doing a good job, but there's just like these other kind of things I want to implement to be my full authentic self, awesome, like sending you energy to make that happen. But if you're like, I really don't even know who I am yet, I need to do some work on authenticity, like keep keep listening to the people that you resonate with on the subject, like learn as much as you can about what you really want. And it's sometimes you just literally, I do this all the time, I'll just write on a piece of paper like, what do I really want? And then you start writing it down, and then you realize like the things that, well, I can't have this and that, right? Like I can't have the money and the soulmate love. Why not? So like
Yeah,
there's this deeper process that comes along with authenticity. And I mean, it can seem difficult at times, but it's the most rewarding thing that you will ever do, because when you're you, you're so much more magnetic to the people who see you. And I think there's some statistic, I'm not like a huge statistic fan, but whatever. Um, you might actually know, it's like a certain number of seconds before people decide to stay out or scroll on you. Isn't it like 2 or 3 seconds or something?
and that is insane in
Yeah.
my mind. And that's the social media, the Instagram, and now Facebook and TikTok, I don't even talk about. And
Yeah.
that's me. But when I started out, like let's even a year and a half ago, when I was looking, into working more on the social media, it was like 16 seconds.
Wow.
And then
So
7 seconds,
crazy.
and then 5 seconds. And now it's like, it's going to disappear altogether, for crying out loud. Three
Yeah.
seconds that you have to get somebody's attention. So that puts a lot of pressure on the online business owner, online
Yeah.
entrepreneur. My goodness, you feel like, you got out of the rat race of the corporate, for in my case, and now it's just a different rat race.
Totally.
So it
Totally.
has to change. And the secret sauce there is to be authentic. You hit it right on. That's the only way. And another piece of that, and I don't know if you're talking about this at all, but the AI, the introduction of AI. It's a fantastic tool, but I spoke to someone just recently, and I was talking about being authentic online and being on video. And she said, well, my issue is time, and I don't want to take the time to do all of this. So I am going to create an avatar. And she's already created several. You
Whoa.
know, they take your photograph and your voice, and it's an avatar that's speaking in your place. And
Wow.
she said, I'm going to use okay, maybe I'm going to use the numbers. It's going to be ads on social media, and I'm going to push that with my avatar. And maybe not everybody's going to like it, but I'm going to go with even the small percentage is going to be good enough. So I was, maybe those people are out there, and that's okay, but it's not going to be everyone. And
Wow.
the thing is, my as an analyst and as an observer, I could predict that in not a very short, a long period of time, I mean, people on social media are going to take a no trust stance, meaning we are not going to trust what we see. We are going to really be critical or looking, is this a real person or is this AI? So the people that are, my take is like, if you're going to go down that route, it's going to be short lived, in my opinion. So
Oh my
you're better
gosh. Yeah.
skipping that,
I want to
getting
stay on
authentic.
this topic.
Pardon?
I want to stay on this topic because it's so important. Um, so this is where you get to learn how to trust your intuition, right? And then also, you know, I did one of those apps, like, and it was just me being like, my defiant self and like wanting to experiment. And I did an AI generated headshot.
Okay.
And even just saying that, like, I still feel a ping in my heart and it hurts because I literally looked like if I could picture the most, like if I sold my soul to the devil and I was in a dark energy field, this is what I would fucking look like. And I'm not joking. And the picture freaked me out so much. I deleted it, obviously, but I had to do like a whole like session, like energy healing session on myself because I'm like, I was like, but there's someone out there who thinks that they look better in that picture. And the way that it was highlighting certain features of mine, I'm like, I know what I look like. And I know that I shapeshift and my face changes throughout my cycle, throughout the month and stuff. I mean, even right now, like I was telling you, my hair looks so much darker than it normally does. Like, I'm just going to go with it. Um, but I can't imagine like that being me and someone actually like, oh yeah, she looks good. I'd be like, well, then there's clearly something in you that's attracting dark sabotaging people because this is not real. And especially with the just because of my feed, I'm always looking at, like, I love things related to like like priestess, ancient Egypt, like that kind of like vibe. And so those pop up a lot and I can immediately tell what's AI because you can just tell that the skin is just not skin, right? And so I always tell people to be cautious of filters. And I honestly think that that was one of the things that the dark energy decided to invent into our reality was these filters because it's not you. I mean, I used to had those little digital cameras until, honestly, just like a few years ago before it became like crazy expensive to use them. And
Mhm.
I'm like, can you imagine if I grew up thinking that I needed a filter? Like it would have changed everything. And it was not as fun as just having cameras laid out around, like a party or a wedding. Like that was what we did. And now we
Yeah.
have these devices and we're like, oh, need to use the filter because I don't like this, or I need to change something with one of these apps. Like I really just think you need to really reflect if you're using filters too much or you're using AI, like really like working with someone like Johanne or myself, because there's a bigger piece there where it's really something where they're trying to hide your light, like literally hide your light. And that was the first thing I said when I met you, because I met Johanne on a very big networking event. And I just do like a little energy scan and I'm like, who do I want to talk to and connect with? And like, you just had this beautiful light and it had nothing to do with any of the 3D related lighting issues, right? It's about your energy. And I think that that's where we're going, where everyone's going to be able to do that. They're easily going to trust themselves and all of
Yeah,
these other things are just going to fall away.
exactly. Because the tools, we cannot knock the tools. Again, I was interested in that in AI technology like maybe 30 years ago. I thought it was brilliant to be able to have a tool to do things, to make our lives easier. But again, there, like it's not the tool that is the problem, it's the use of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the idea that you could replace yourself. And another lady I was speaking to was saying, like, oh, I don't know if I want to be the face of my business. Maybe it's going to be someone else. And I knew what she was thinking, like maybe she's going to use an
Wow.
avatar. And I'm going, oh, don't do that. Goodness, nobody can replace you, you know. And again, there, the beauty of those tools is they're going to maybe take care, like, for example, Chat GPT. I don't know if you use that for your business, but I find it's like my personal assistant. If I wouldn't have that to, I'll write an email or I'll write some kind of a post and I put it into ChatGPT and I said, review and make it flow better. And it does a really, really good job. So
Totally.
for me, like that is because I would spend hours on an email. Like that doesn't make sense. I don't have that kind of time. So for me, it's an extraordinary tool that is very useful. But I would never dream. I don't even. I have a thing about backgrounds, the virtual backgrounds. Again, it has to do with energy, and that natural the virtual backgrounds is a little bit of AI, right? But what it does is you'll see people with that it's not done professional, and you start losing them right when they move.
Yeah,
So
it
what
makes me
happens
crazy.
energetically? Huh?
It makes me crazy when I see that
I know, I
personally.
know,
I'm like, I
I
can't
know.
focus anymore. Like, why are you doing this? Like, and I've tried it. I did it because I had a very fancy green screen that one of my past clients, bosses, whatever, sent me. He's like, I really want you to use this. I really want you to use this background. And I was like, okay. And of course, that's why that relationship did not end well, because I couldn't just be my authentic self. My whole brand is about being decluttered and like showing people your beautiful space. Um, but I thought that was like berserk. And so then I tried it later with a background that I really liked, which was just like pink sparkles and glitter. And I still was like, nope, this just does not feel good to me. Like I can't, like I move a lot. Like I don't want to be
Exactly, me
messing
too.
with people's minds.
And energetically, there are two things about that. And I think it's part of this camera confidence, and people that need to know about that is if you're hiding something with a
Mm-hmm.
background, you always have that little thing in your head saying, like, what if this thing stops? What if this background fails and everybody's going to see my mess?
Yep.
Kind of idea.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So energetically, you're hiding something, right? And people are going to sense that. The other thing is because you're going to be, so then you become stiff. You say, okay, I'm not going to move because I know that, if I move, so frick, you can't get comfortable and you can't express yourself properly. You're just going to be stiff. And again, there, it is the energy that we feel when we're on camera that we are emitting that is an important piece. And once you're feeling comfortable with that, that's when you get energized by the experience rather than be drained.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think a couple other points, like it's important to, if you're a woman, like paying attention to your cycle, because there are times where you're meant to really just be with yourself and to receive insights. And then, film a bunch of stuff and then just spread it out when you post it, right? And then also human design, like there's certain people who, like they're meant to be like in the spotlight a lot more, and they're meant to be on video specifically a lot more than other types. So I think that if you haven't gone down those paths, that's an important note too, because I mean, there's people that I follow and love that they do beautiful posts that are like done by an artist. And then once in a great, great while, they'll actually show their face. And it's because they're in that vibration where they can do that, but they're still showing up on camera for their community. And I think that's why so many people are going toward community and memberships. It's because people want to be with you. They want to see you. They want to ask you questions. And they wouldn't have known that that's what they needed unless they were getting these little snippets of you and they wanted more. And I think that that's such a fun way to think of things, because if you're here, you either are a business owner or like you've always dreamed of doing that, and you have having some of these negative thoughts, I guess, about certain things that you're going to have to do. And when you look at the whole picture, it's like, okay, like, what if I just start with like one little thing that I love talking about, which is, my son, like I can talk about him all day. Like people just want content, and the more that they get, the more that they want. It's like when you first fall in love with somebody, right? Like I can't go a day without you. I feel like I'm going to die. And you're with them all the time, right? And it's the same thing when people are connecting with you, and like the message that you have and the information that you have and the energy that you have, they just want more and more and more. And you can give it to them and do it through memberships and communities where you're actually making money too, because I wanted to ask how you handle all of that, like just people having access to you, right? Because being on camera is definitely a bigger task than just, hopping on a phone call when you're running around doing errands versus like sitting down and actually filming something. Like,
Well,
how do you
absolutely.
feel about that? And like, how does that flow through your life and your business?
Well, first of all, I wanted to just say, like, as you were talking about, talking about your son, one of the things that
I
I
don't
did
have
to
one. I just totally made that up.
Ah,
But I'm just giving an example because I feel like someone here probably is like the proud mama and is like, I
oh
can
yes,
talk
of
about my son
course.
all day. I'm like, well, then talk about that. And then tie
Yes.
your message into that.
And the thing with that, what I experienced, because that's what I did when I did my 30-day, challenge for myself. And I proclaimed that. I went on Facebook at the time, and I didn't have too many followers at the time. And I said, I'm just to let you know, I'm going to be doing a video, a Facebook Live every day, except for Sundays and holidays. And you'll be seeing more of me. And, to me, I said, nobody's listening. Nobody watches me. Nobody follows me. I'm just starting out on Facebook, right? And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna have a theme. So Mondays was Meet Me Monday. Tuesday was a tip, some kind of a tip.
Mm-hmm.
Then Wednesday was Work In, Workout Monday, Wednesday. So I did a workout piece, whatever I was doing, and just very short videos. And Work In was some meditation or things that I was doing. On Thursdays, I decided to make it a travel Thursday. So I talk about things,
Fun.
places that I wanted to go. And I had ChatGPT to give me some of the details of, different places, different countries. And I would just share that. And then Friday was something like fun facts. And then Saturday was from scratch Saturday. Because I'm a
Ooh,
health conscious person, I do a lot of stuff. I do juicing, I do fermentation, I'll make my own chai tea from scratch. I do a lot of stuff
that's so
and bread and
cool.
things. And I forced myself to film that. And it's interesting because it's something that you do naturally. You don't need to follow any instructions. It's
Right.
something you're just showing, but you get more comfortable. You get more comfortable with your phone or your camera because you have to set it up in a way, to catch the stove and as you're mixing and doing all of those things. So you get more comfortable and at ease. And it is so cool when people start like, oh, send me the recipe, and people are, so that's where that juice comes from, in a sense, like of the social media. You start warming up to it, and it's warming up to you. So that is a process that I found was very, very useful. So like you said, speaking about something, going into nature, when you're in nature and filming that and sharing that experience and what you're feeling, it doesn't take long, but it just gets you out there. And again, it's for maybe the people that are watching you, but a lot more for you to become at ease and comfortable in front of the camera.
Amazing. I love that. Yeah. I think most of my community is like nature and animal obsessed. So again, whatever lights you up is literally lighting you up and making you magnetic. Just get it on camera.
Yeah, and get that muscle going.
Exactly.
Because then once you've exercised that, doing, let's say, those things that are very specific at the beginning, of course, like, it's a bit harder. I know I had scripts and I was reading scripts because perfectionist, right? Coming from the corporate world. Even at one point I was in nature and I had a script taped to a tree, for crying out loud.
I love that.
I was trying to talk and just do the nature thing. But if that's the process that needs to be done, so be it. It's just to do it, and no excuses, rainy day, sunny day, whatever, you just do it. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that so
Mhm.
much. So I'd love to
Mhm.
hear if you have any classes or anything else coming up, and then like Facebook group, like how can people like
Yes.
jump in to your world?
Yes, yes. And I didn't answer your question before. So yes, Facebook group is an important piece, because what I find with a Facebook group, that's a connection. It's a community, right? So you feel less vulnerable with a group of people that decided to join you.
Mm,
They raised their hand and they joined. So therefore, you could feel comfortable that they won't be attacking you in it,
exactly. Yeah.
So you could go on lives there and feel more comfortable. And then I do a master class. So that's the other thing that I do. I did a summit on the Confident on Camera Summit, where I had 33 experts. That was amazing because I learned so
Cool.
much from experts and people that shared a lot of their wisdom in their businesses and mindset, to colors, to all kinds of things. I had one with a technology, one person that did makeup. So anyway, so I use that format. And now I'm doing a master class. So basically, I'm teaching three easy or need to know, must know tips for being competent on camera. So that's a master class, and I'll send you the link to that. I have them regularly. And yes, so because people are so busy, right? They want to attend, they want to learn, but so I'm giving a weekly master class, but it's not always a weekly. Sometimes I'll skip, like for the holidays, right?
Yeah.
Um, Even I have one coming up tomorrow and then next week. So it's available.
Perfect. And I love that we're recording on 12/12 portal.
True. I didn't even realize that.
Very magical day. Last year on 12/12 is when I got my download of knowing that at some point I'll be in Hawaii, but then also like being the vibration of Hawaii and like living in paradise and allowing paradise to be that frequency, right? Like no matter where I am. I mean, I'm in Northern Ohio and there's a lot of snow and I'm just like enjoying it, right? But I will put all those links below for you guys. So just go ahead and get down there. And I mean, this is just something that like the more that you hear different people speaking about, the more it's going to serve you, because someone's going to say something that's like, okay, I can do this. Because I mean, I had so many people for years like, you're just a really good speaker. Like, do you ever do anything on camera? And like the thought of it was so terrifying. In college, when I'd have to give speeches and like present research papers and stuff like that, I would have panic attacks. And one of them, my panic attack was so severe that I actually blacked out, passed out, and had a seizure. So as I tell my community often, healing is always possible. And if I
Yes.
can do it, you can do it. And I don't do as much video stuff. It's really just, it kind of comes in phases because I do have that hermit part of my human design when I'm just learning, integrating, and healing. But it's so important to know that like you have a message that's so important for people to hear. And if it helps one person, then it's worth it, because you never, when you're helping one person, you're helping everyone that they're ever going to come into contact with. You're helping heal them at a DNA level, which is then helping anyone who has a biological relationship with them, because they're connected through the DNA. And the more we're learning about the energetic field and how that changes and it has its own microbiome and things like that, like you just literally just helping one person, you're actually never just helping one person. And that's, to me, that's worth it. That's worth me, yapping about something that someone might find really, really cool. So we
Absolutely.
are just here to be your cheerleaders. And I mean, this is literally Johanne's bread and butter. So I can't recommend hanging out with her enough and learning some of her amazing tools. So I'm just so grateful for your time and all of your amazing wisdom. Is there anything that you wanted to share in closing?
In closing, is like you said before, I thought that was so important. Technology is not the answer. It's the way you use your technology. It is more, you just got to do. There's no magic wand. I don't have a magic wand, and I don't have a magic pill. It's just you need some guidance in order to be able to just and hold you, through the process, to get you comfortable and to find out who you really are, to express your message. And everybody, it's all in us, right? We
Yes,
all have our inner self, and it just needs to be nurtured a little bit to come out. So that's my experience.
absolutely. And I also want to say one more thing about the being on camera piece and like healing and all of that stuff. You have eye codes and you also have voice codes.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so you can literally, and I tell people like, there's this, I wonder if this is something I need to do, this experiment. You literally line up 100 people and they all say the same sentence and they all look you in the eye saying that sentence. You're going to have a very different experience with every single person. And whether it's 1 or 10 of them where you're just like, yes, I connect with you, because your consciousness, your level of love is actually reflected through your eyes. So the more that you heal, especially
Mm,
seeing yourself on camera, the more that you like, you don't even understand the level of healing that's occurring. And it actually can happen through your eyes, and your eyes can actually change. And if you've
mm,
seen those pictures of an eye next to a nebula universe,
mm,
it's
mm.
really, really cool. I just wanted to share that. And
Yeah.
one more thing for my community that they might not know about me that's coming in. I I was in like pageants and stuff when I was little. So I had like, I could have literally, and you see those pageant moms and like how crazy they are, like that was literally my life. So I just wanted to share that so you understand like where I was coming from, like self-esteem wise. Like you have to look this specific way, you have to smile this specific way, you have to stand this specific way. So again, if I can do it, you can do it. I just wanted to share that because that kind of came through as something that someone needed to hear. And I'm just so grateful for the community. I'm so grateful for Johanne. Like this is just amazing. I hope everyone's having a beautiful December so far. And again, all the links are below to get into Johanne's world and learn some of her amazing camera confidence methodology. And I just love you all so much. And I will see you again soon. Bye for
Thank
now.
you.